I'm so happy we got Dr. Kohli here. Yes.
Hi, guys.
Happy Friday to us. And we are kicking things off today with something we have not talked about in a while. COVID. So in case you did not know, there is a new variant, BA.5, that's now dominant. It's the dominant strain causing infections, and hospitals across the country are now seeing an influx of new patients. And experts, including Dr. Kohli, are concerned. So how worried should you be? And here to talk about it, of course, once again, Dr. Kohli, please fill us in.
You know, guys, I'm starting to get worried. I'm not in a panic mode yet, but I'm really sort of worried about where we're headed going into the fall, because BA.5 is the most contagious variant of COVID that we've had so far. We sort of have a blindfold on in terms of knowing what it's doing, because we're not really able to count infections as accurately now that people are doing these at-home tests. And this variant is so smart. It tricks our immune system. This is what we had worried about last year, that one of these days we're going to get a variant that evades our immune system. And guess what? It's here now. So even if you've been vaccinated, even if you've been infected before with Omicron, you can still go and get this infection with this variant. And that's what we're worried. We might see a surge in people getting sick.
Well, let me ask you about that new strain. Why is it and what is it that has experts so worried? And how frightened from like one to like, I'm running to hide under the bed, are you really about it?
I don't think Dr. Kohli hides. She does.
Maybe the closet.
Fair.
But I don't think, I mean, let's say the COVID pandemic at the beginning was a 10, right? Because we had nothing. We had no vaccines, no testing, and people were dying and getting in the hospital. This is probably 7 or 7.5. Yeah, because we're headed in a bad place coming into the fall season. All this on a background of people not wearing their masks anymore. And most of us are at least 6 months out from our booster, which means that any immunity or protection that we may have gotten from the vaccines has started to go away as well.
Well, speaking of wearing masks, LA is contemplating whether to bring back masks indoors. Okay, so should we all be wearing masks? Does it depend on where you live? And what will convince people to put them back on? That's going to be the hardest part.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm going to ask you guys that question. What do you think might convince you? But really, I mean, the CDC says you should wear masks if you live in an area that has a high rate of transmission. The problem is we don't know if there's a high rate of transmission because we can't assess accurately the number of cases. We think we're undercounting by 7 to 10-fold. So my personal practice, the virus has moved. We're playing chess with the virus. It has given us the best move yet by putting the most contagious variant that it has out there. And our antibodies are going away because we're so far from our vaccine. So what I am doing, and I'm telling my family and friends to do, is to mask up in every public place that's populated. Grocery stores, movie theaters, shopping malls. If you're going somewhere where you don't know where those people have been, we know there's infection all around us. This is incredibly contagious, and none of us are protected, even if we've been vaccinated. Then it's time to put that mask up, because it's not time to kick up your feet and say, this is done, as much as we want to believe that.
So now with fall coming, we have these new booster shots being rolled out. Will that particular booster shot help protect against this strain? And then also, does that antiviral pill that we have access to now, will that help treat this or no?
So the antiviral pill does have efficacy against BA.4 and 5. So that's good news there. So even if you get COVID, make sure you call your doctor and ask them if you're eligible for that antiviral pill called Paxlovid. Now the next variant may not. It may be smarter and it may trick the antiviral pill as well, but at least that's working right now. I wish that the booster shots that are going to come this fall, the 4 and 5 booster shots, were here now. Because even though the current boosters do offer protection against severe illness, we're seeing it doesn't offer protection against infection. So we should have them now. It's almost like we're one step behind the virus, because by the time those booster shots come in the fall, we may have a new variant. In fact, there's already one that's here in the US called BA.2.75 that's coming from India that we feel is growing even faster than BA.5. So we actually need to start ramping up the efforts to roll out those boosters faster so that we can get people protected from infection.
Wow.
Can we nominate her to be CDC director?
I know, she's amazing. You make me feel so calm, but also so educated.
Right.
Now, a little bit later in the show, we are going to be talking about Ivana Trump, who, if you didn't know, died yesterday at 73. We'll be remembering her life, so stay tuned for that. But since you're here, I wanted to ask you about a possible cause of death, cardiac arrest. We don't know yet, but that's a possible. Paramedics found her at the bottom of the stairs. So how common is cardiac arrest in a woman in her 70s, say?
So cardiac arrest, which means stopping of the heart. Basically, the heart stops, and that means our organs are not getting blood flow, so everything kind of shuts down. It's not all that common, but we do know that heart disease is the #1 killer of women. And we know that of the people that have cardiac arrest, 2 out of 3 of them are usually over the age of 60. So it tends to happen more in older people. But cardiac arrest sometimes is sort of a diagnosis of exclusion. Why did the heart stop? Was it a heart attack? Was it, a metabolic abnormality? Right. Was it the acid problem? Was it electrolytes? What caused the heart to stop? So you don't want to just stop and say somebody has a cardiac arrest, but why did they have that cardiac arrest?
So what would be more likely in a situation like this, if it is in fact that this is what's being reported, because we speculate and it's very early, is it likely that cardiac arrest caused the fall, or that the fall caused the cardiac arrest?
Interesting.
Very good question. So probably the cardiac arrest causing the fall, because the fall in and of itself can cause trauma to the brain, it can cause injury to the organs. If you directly hit the chest, and we have old data from military where direct trauma to the chest can cause the heart to have an electrical problem and stop, but probably more likely if she actually had a cardiac arrest from whatever cause, that may have caused her to fall down the stairs.
Wow. Dr. Kohli, as always, thank you so much for joining us and providing all of your very informative information. If you have a question you would like Dr. Kohli to answer, please write us on social media or send us an email to info@dailyblastlive.com. Thank you, Dr. Kohli.